Let's talk about the lock and key analogy. You can pause to read this, but this person asked if I can make a video talking about the lock and key analogy. So yeah, let's do it. So what is the lock and key analogy? What is it for? How is it used? Why is it bad? What the lock and key analogy says is that a key that can open many locks is a master key, but a lock that can be opened by many keys is a shitty lock. Now, how is this being used? What are they saying? A man who can sleep with many women is a masterful man. A woman who sleeps with many men is a shitty woman. Basically, if we do the exact same thing, I'm amazing for it, you're disgusting for it. It's just misogyny in the form of purity culture. The purpose of this analogy is basically to say women can't sleep with who they want to sleep with. If they do that, that's bad. It's oppression. It's trying to control women's bodies and decisions. Shame on you for sleeping with who you want to sleep with. Only I'm allowed to do that. And you hear tons of variations of this, but it all means the same thing. Women who sleep around are going to hell, or don't respect themselves, or are low value, or all this stuff. If you are having consensual relations with men, you are worth less, and I am allowed to disrespect you. But also, if you sleep with me, you are worth less, and I'm allowed to disrespect. You really shouldn't be sleeping with anybody, basically. It's an analogy that's sole purpose is controlling women's bodies. Now, why is it a bad analogy besides that obvious reason? There's tons of reasons. Like, for one, you can just change the metaphor and say the exact same thing for men. A pencil sharpener that can sharpen many pencils is a great pencil sharpener. But a pencil that's been sharpened by many sharpeners is kind of useless. You get the idea. Like, when your analogy has that level of agenda attached to it, then it's really easy to make counter analogies. Another reason is that the purpose of a lock is to keep everyone out except for the person with the key. A woman's job isn't not sleeping with men unless you're in purity culture. That's the only time. If you reject purity culture and you just say women can sleep with whoever they want to consensually, then women aren't like locks. And if they were, then the only people sleeping with them are people who have a key. Nobody else. The lock is doing its intended purpose at that point. People that they give a key to get to go in and other people don't. That's another reason why this analogy is bad. Here's a third. The people who are trying to convince women to stop sleeping with men are all straight men. That's who's doing it. Like, the main group that wants to sleep with women are constantly trying to convince women that sleeping with men is a bad thing. It's weird. In summary, the analogy is misogynist and based in purity culture. Women are not analogous to locks. A lock's purpose is to keep people out. Women have no such requirement. Women sleep with who they want and don't sleep with who they don't want. And if a woman wants to sleep with a lot of men, that's fine. Men want to sleep with a lot of women. It's the same thing. Like, why would it not be okay? The analogy just does not make sense unless you're trying to oppress women.